Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your usual program, The Profile. Of course, The Profile comes all the way from your #1 television. It's a weekly production that is geared towards bringing out people you need to discover the other side of them, or establishments, so to say. In the program, The Profile, in this special edition today, we'll be laying more emphasis on a statesman who has stood the test of time as far as giving out what Cameroonians will need. This is no other person than Dr. Nick Ngawanyam. Be with us as we unfold the program, The Profile. Once more, my name is Tayong Fa Elvis.
Baruch Ata Adonai,
Baruch Ata Adonai,
Baruch Abba Yerushalayim, Baruch Ata Adonai, Baruch Abba Yerushalayim. From the Bible to the Quran, Revelation in Jerusalem, Shalom, Salam Alaikum.
Welcome to St. Louis Douala, which is a sister branch of St. Louis Bamenda, already functioning. I am Dr. Derek Ngawanyam. I'm the Chief Medical Officer of Idabato Health Area in Bakassi. And actually I'm giving lectures here as a consultant in anatomy and physiology. So I love the initiative. We love to accompany the young Cameroonians, and that's why we had to support Dr. Nick Ngawanyam, who is the visionary of this initiative to put this institution into place. So here at St. Louis actually is the first year, it's the first batch for both level 100 and level 400 as a bachelor's program. And in this school, we offer 6 departments. You have nursing, you have midwifery, you have medical laboratory sciences, you have physiotherapy, you have radiology also. So those are the options that are going on campus now. For this year, for example, we have 4 departments that are currently running. You have physiotherapy, dentistry, you have radiology, and you have nursing. So by next year, it's a school that is actually starting, and next year there is a lot in the pipeline, especially for the young Cameroonians of both the French and the English-speaking expressions. So it's a school that has actually come up to meet the needs of Cameroonians, that's transforming their dreams into reality. So we are very happy to have you around with us, and thank you very much.
Israel Yakirati, Israel Yakirati.
Well, course, we did inform you that the profile team is taking you from one angle to another. That has to do with Dr. Nick Ngawanyam. Of course, from the school milieu, when we know that he is an educationist, we are now moving over to another side of him. We shall discover him at home, and we shall also discover Dr. Nick Ngawanyam, also in the office, and also as an administrator. All of these are packages put just together for you to enjoy yourself as you join us in this program, The Profile.
Together and praying, amen. Let's give thanks and praises. Baruch Ata Adonai. Baruch Abba Yerushalayim. Baruch Ata Adonai. Baruch Abba Yerushalayim.
Ah, this is Dr. Nick Ngawanyam. It's a pleasure. Doctor. Wow. Yeah. The profile team marks presence at your place.
Oh, thank you.
It's quite interesting.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
And everybody's around? All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's once more we welcome you to this program, The Profile, on your darling TV station. And don't forget, as we earlier told you, that we shall be having one-on-one discussion with Dr. Nick Ngawanyam, who is equally a Cameroonian, of course, a citizen who has been pushing hard to ensure that knowledge is transferred from him and to onto others around the environment. Dr. Nick Ngawanyam, it's a pleasure meeting you this day in the program, The Profile.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to share with Cameroonians, to share with you, and to share with everybody who cares to listen. And Merry Christmas to all our listeners.
All right, we will be talking now some specific issues here, but then we understand that people know who Dr. Nick Ngawanyam is. But in the program, The Profile, can people know a little bit more about Dr. Nick Ngawanyam?
Yes, of course, we are here to share with you, I mean, in a very lengthy manner, so that we get to know the beginnings, where we are, and the end, where we are hoping to get to, the whole vision. Yeah. So, yes, I carry a huge vision with me, and I guess I want to share that with the people today.
All right. Now, let's get to the crux of the matter. Who is Dr. Nick Ngawanyam? Probably, where did you school? Where do you come from?
Yes, I'm 62 years old today, married to Madame Florence Ngawanyam. She's a pharmacist, and we have 4 kids. Okay. When I say kids, I mean, of course, they are all grown-ups.
Yeah, they're all grown-ups.
Yeah. my first child is the son, Royan Ngawanyam. He's a medical doctor and a captain in the U.S. Army. He's specializing in radiology in one of those islands out there. The name has just gone off my mind. Yes, but he studied in the U.S. and I have my daughter too. She studied in South Africa. She's come back and she's working here for Deloitte and Touche. I have. She's married. I have my son, who is an engineer, systems engineer. Okay. Ringdang Ngawanyam. Okay. He has his businesses and he's trying in the private sector. And I have the Benjamin. He studied in Germany and he's also come back to Cameroon to pick up other skills. All right.
Now, 4 children, all grown up, as we say, but you know, kids remain kids, children remain children.
Yes, of
now,
course.
How about the grandchildren? We hear you
yes,
have
yes.
that?
I have a grandkid, my daughter, Bery Cynthia, and the husband, Olivier. Behon Olivier, they got married about 2 years ago. They have a little beautiful daughter. She's about 8-9 months old now. Luna Christie. Okay. Yeah, a Sherry. And I'm so fond of her, yes.
No. Dr. Nick Ngawanyam, a medical practitioner, son, medical practitioner, wife, medical practitioner. Now, what has been the motivating factor? Was that or mother probably traditional doctors?
Oh, no, not exactly. Not exactly. I must say, of course, that you know, we come from Donga Mantung, and I grew in an environment where you know, there was so much of native doctor thing and witchcraft issues and so on.
That should be from Donga Mantung.
Yeah. But I didn't like that background, so I had to study. You know, I had this motivation to become a medical doctor because I observed when I was still a kid. Okay. In growing up in Kambe, in those days, in the 1960s, Yeah, I was going to the primary school PS in Kambe, and there used to be this, those in the West Cameroon days, there used to be this Dr. Ngasa. Dr. Ngasa, you know, the roads were not tarred and they were very bad, but he had his Land Rover, and he would after work drive very slowly through what I might call a town, probably was a village, I don't know how it was like at the time, but he would be driving up and down very slowly, and I thought that was very cool, and I wanted to be a doctor like him. Yes, and then of course my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, you know, he lived with us for some time, and he made a wish on me. He said, I would wish that you should be a doctor, and that you should be able to operate on people and make them live.
Wow.
And that was when I was in primary school, and I took that into my spirit.
Okay.
And so when I went to secondary school, first to JMB Sindhu and then subsequently to CPC Bali.
Okay.
I went to JMBC for 2 years, then transferred to CPC Bali the rest of the time. Okay. You know, I started to think about this wish on me and my desire to be like Dr. Ngasa. And the question was, what do I have to study, and how do I have to, what are the paths that I have to follow to be like Dr. Ngasa, and to be able to operate people and let them live. So when I went to school, I became very passionate about the science subjects, because I knew there was no way I was going to be a doctor if I didn't study the sciences. And therefore, I just had a flair for the science subjects. Of course, I was good at the sciences. And so it was no big deal. And when I finished from CPC Bali in the year 1977, I wrote the concours, or the competitive entrance examination into our lone medical school at the time. And I guess that probably were about 2,000 or 3,000 of us competing for about 50, 60 places. And I was lucky enough to make it. And I was admitted into QS. I think I was the 9th batch or something like that. And I started there, graduated as a medical doctor in 1983. And subsequently, sometime in 1986, I went down to Nairobi at the University of Nairobi to specialize as a surgeon. And again, after that, I went to the UK, the University College of London, to study urology. So I studied surgery in Nairobi, urology in London, and then I came back to work. I worked in, when it comes to my work, of course, I worked in Fontem as a junior doctor. At the
civil service?
Yeah, in the civil service. I worked in Fontem as a junior doctor at the Azi Hospital. And I used to live in a house, the Kemantabong house in Menji, and I would trek past the Mount Mary Hospital on foot, and I go to Azi. The Azi to work.
That's daily.
Yeah, and then there was a Land Rover, and I tried to drive that Land Rover. The roads were very bad. Yes, but it was very exciting. I was young then, so I could do a couple of crazy things. And after that, I came and worked at l'Hôpital Central. I worked at l'Hôpital Central for some time, in the maternity of the l'Hôpital Central. Then I worked with Professor Ngu Lifanji in the nephrology unit, and I trained on putting stents and so on for preparing patients for dialysis. Thereafter, I worked in the maternity, as I said. I was one of the junior doctors there, working with Professor Fomulu, Professor Nasser, and the others. And after some time, I was sent to go work in a hospital in the East region, in a place called Betare Oya. I think it's about 180 kilometers from Betua on the way road to Ngaoundere. I worked there for some time. It's from there that I left and went to specialize in Nairobi and then in London with a WHO scholarship. So yeah, so it's
now,
quite exciting.
Let's get this other side quite interesting. After working in the civil service, were you retired? It looks like when you went to Europe, you came back and refused working with the government?
Well, you could say that, you know, there were a couple of things that happened to my life. I'm a very rebellious fellow. I'm somehow naughty and crazy sometimes, you know. when it's white and then you're telling me it's black, and when I'm looking very hard and I cannot see the black, you know, my spirit becomes very irritable.
I see.
So, yeah, so that's the issue with me, and a lot of people have problems with me because that's the way I am.
All right.
You know, it's very unfortunate. This is human nature. Sometimes I tell a few white lies. You know what I mean? But to be lying constantly is something that I'm not used to.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I bend the rules a little bit.
All right.
But if you are going to perpetually live in bending rules, you know, it's not funny because your spirit becomes very disturbed, and I don't like to be in a position where my spirit is disturbed.
Okay.
Of course, just like anything else, you know, you could confess your sins to the cardinal or to the bishop or to the priest, but just because you have confessed your sins is the truth, the priest also doesn't confess them to, doesn't bring that to public. So let's say if somebody were to ask the priest about it, the priest would not say it, you know, and so sometimes it's not all truths that are said,
yeah.
But we try as much as possible to stay with the truth, and therefore I left the civil service because there was an issue of truth.
Okay. Now, many persons, medical or practitioners who leave the civil service, when they move abroad, they go for good. They don't come back. So what motivated you to go? Because we understand out there could be quite prosperous and promising.
Yes.
You decide to come back to the same system where you were not seeing white the way they were calling it white.
That's correct. When I trained in London, and I worked in Brighton General Hospital. And it was a very exciting time for me because, you know, somehow the professors there, they liked me and they were very supportive of my work and they really helped me a lot.
Okay.
And then there was Professor, I think his name is Harrison, if I'm not mistaken. He was teaching me the urology and he took me for a son, so to speak.
Okay.
So he gave me, while training as a junior urologist, so to speak, a urologist in training in London at the Shaftesbury Institute of Urology, he gave me a job at the Brighton General Hospital for which I was paid. All right, for which I was paid, and
surely you were paid good money.
yeah, I was paid some good money.
Okay.
The interesting thing was, after working there for about 6 months or so, I was supposed to come back home at the hospital. And this professor, he asked that I should ask our government to give me more time to practice and work and so on. But the government, you know, I wrote back to the government said, no, come back home. Come back home and work because we need you, so to speak. And the interesting thing was, when I was leaving that job in the UK, the job was advertised. I have forgotten the numbers, but there were more than 20 qualified urologists who were asking for the job that I was giving up. And they had to kind of like go through some kind of an interview, some kind of an examination, you know, for one of them to be selected.
Okay.
After it was done, there was a young girl who was selected to take over the job.
Okay.
But this was a job I had on a platter of gold. I've never forgotten that.
Okay.
And
you said you want to come back to come.
yes, and then they said, if you want your job anytime, come back, we'll give it to you. That's the promise.
Okay.
So here I am. I come back to Cameroon, and at the time, Hôpital General Douala was just newly built, and I was looking forward to come and be the urologist in Hôpital General. But for some odd reason, when I came, I stayed in the house for 7 months in Bamenda, and I was not posted.
Okay.
And mind you, when I went on studies, I still had my salary. So when I came and stayed at home for 7 months, government was still paying me, and it didn't just make sense.
Okay.
And what irritated me most was the fact that it would have taken just 10 minutes for the Minister of Health to post me to work, to send me to my place of work to work.
Okay.
And he wouldn't do that. And there were so many other doctors that had graduated and were waiting around, and he would not send them to their places of work. So we were all idling. And what irritated me most was the fact that he took a plane and went up to the north somewhere, I don't know in which, whether Marwa Garwa, I have no idea, to receive a gift worth 2 million francs from Lions International. Here he was losing so much money, and a lot of people not working, and a lot of people dying, needing help. And these were doctors sitting, couldn't work because he had not posted them. And he's off to go receive something for 2 million. It didn't make sense. Those are the kind of things that irritate me.
I get you.
And eventually, when it dawned on him that I should be posted, he posted me to the hospital in Betua. Okay, and it was
actually the general hospital.
Yes, the general hospital in Betua. It was a small old hospital, German kind of thing. Yeah. But there was this old hospital and a new one that had just been built. So I worked for some time in the hospital, and eventually there was a transfer to the new hospital, and it was very beautiful, and it was nice to work in comfortable environments. But once in Betua, there was something. In Betua, I noticed that the people were not mentally very evolved. Okay. They were not very conscious. I mean, when I say Betua, the East region. The East region. They were not. Okay. They were a people who were not as emancipated as those of English-speaking regions, because people of English-speaking region they have an open spirit. I worked in Yaoundé, so I interacted with a lot of people. But the people in the East were kind of like a little bit in their shells, so to speak. And what I noticed was that we had government officials there who were kind of like breathing down their throats, you know, kicking them around and so on. You know, like you come and you take advantage of them. It was like the white man coming here to Cameroon, to Africa, and kicking us around. So those of us civil servants, we go from here to the East, and we see a bunch of people and we also kick them around. So, I mean, you get the point? Yeah, I was not comfortable with that. And what surprised me so much, if you go and look at the East region in terms of land area, if you take the northwest region, the west region, the littoral region, and the southwest region, you can fit all of that in the East region. And very wide, and I was the only surgeon in that place.
As the only surgeon in the entire region?
Yeah, I was the only surgeon. And that was not funny. But this is the interesting thing. On days like, on important days like 1st of May, or is it 20th of May, those important days, you know, the public holidays where we celebrate 11th of February, you know, at the Place de Fête in the East region, they would not even give me a seat in the tribune. Yeah. I would come and I would stand in the crowd like anyone else. I mean, you see just to what extent, you know, administration like tricks people. Yes, yes, yes. And that brought to my attention something. Okay. That if you work in the Cameroon civil service, or you are a Cameroonian for that matter, we've given a lot of attention to administration and commandement. Okay. If you are not in commandement, if you don't have a post de service appointed, you know, you are a nobody. If you are a technician, you are treated as a nobody. Okay. If you are a businessman, it doesn't matter what tons of money you make or the jobs you provide for people, you are a nobody. You have to be in commandment, giving or shouting orders and kicking people around. That's what was, you know, that is what is respected, and that came very much to light in my spirit. Okay. And so I could see all these things playing out. Then things came to a head when a villager was killed, and you know, when the villager was killed, his name was Abonolangwe Luis, a man from Dian, 40 kilometers from Betua. He was killed under circumstances I don't want to relate here. Right. And then I was supposed to give an autopsy report and to state what killed the man. So I stated in black and white how the man died and so on. Right. And then people did not like that, and so they came for my head. And technically, that's how I left the civil service. Wow. This was in 1993. Okay. The issue started around March 1993. Right. And so that was the turning point in my life, right, where I said, to hell with your civil service, to hell with whatever. And I was ready to, I could have gone back to Britain to work, but I chose to stay because Professor Anomangu, who is of blessed memory now, he stood firmly by me. Dr. Solomon Fogwe too, who was responsible for the Human Rights Commission at the time, he stood very firmly by me, and they protected me. Okay. And then out of that mess, St. Louis was born.
Okay, wow, that's interesting.
Yes.
Now, Dr. Nick Ngawanyam talking to us here in the program, The Profile. Now, when we look at the circumstances that pushed you out of the civil service, now you coming back in the same system that we could put it also in quotes, as per se, and then coming to open your own project, put in place hospitals, schools, and other like. Don't you think that it could be another point whereby the government could probably not be very happy with you?
No, the issues I had in Betua. In fact, if I see the people who mess me up in Betua, I will cook a nice dinner for them and invite them and buy them the drinks, and we'll have a party, we'll celebrate, we'll dance, I will pat them on the back, I say thank you, continue.
At least maybe they helped you.
Yeah, they did. So sometimes, but of course, we regret the fact that a life was lost.
Okay.
All right, that's no question.
Yeah.
But I still praise myself for standing my grounds and for taking a leap of faith into the darkness.
All right.
And out of that, you know, I had innate capacity, hidden capacities, you know, for survival capacities. Because I was pushed my back to the wall, I found myself between the rock and the hard place. That squeezed the juice out of me and allowed me to search much higher, like an eagle. And today, my powers of creativity have actually been enhanced.
Okay.
And you know, you don't run away from a boiling pot. You try to see how you manage the boiling pot. Just because some government agents mess me up doesn't mean that that's how the government, they were not representative of the government.
Okay.
All right? Even as I speak, if I'm here today, it's because the government has really helped me, and the government continues to help me, and the government takes the walk with me, the government believes in me, and the government thinks that I have something to offer, and the government has been appreciating what we are doing.
All right, Dr. Nick Ngawanyam, we'll be taking some next 5 minutes to touch your political life before we will be changing the platform where we are to move to another area where we'll take your educational life and your philosophy at the last part of this program. Now, when we look at your political life, Dr. Nick Ngawanyam appears to be too honest to a fault, too straightforward to a fault. Now, when people see you militating in the ruling party, many people think that it is a misplacement of priority, given that the ideologies in the party does not match with Dr. Nick Ngawanyam.
Yes, you know, sometimes you do things, you don't do things based on emotions.
Okay.
You have to have a vision, and you have to know, you have to be able to explain to everybody how you got to where you are,
okay,
and why you do things differently.
Okay.
Now, I must say that, you know, in those early days, 1993, whatever, everybody was of the opinion that Cameroon needed change.
Okay.
And so I joined the SDF to look for change.
Okay.
But
this is interesting for people don't know.
yes, I joined the SDF. I was a frontline runner in the SDF. I was there, you know, and actually when Chairman Nif John Frundi came to campaign in the East region, I was there with my white Mercedes leading them. I drove, you know, I actually drove ahead of his I led his convoy through the forest back into Yaoundé when he finished with his campaigns in those days. But this is it. Change can come to a nation or to a system through anybody.
Okay.
God did not say it must be through you or that. I mean, of course, God can say, this my son will bring it. Just like David, Solomon, Daniel, and so on brought changes. But when God can designate somebody,
Okay.
but God can also designate a John the Baptist. And in those days, I perceived Frundi after some time, especially after the first presidential election, I perceived him as a John the Baptist.
Okay.
I didn't perceive him like the person who will bring the change.
Okay.
And I told him that he was John the Baptist, and he was very angry with me. But this is the point. You know, we all agreed that we needed change.
Okay.
And change is a constant. We must keep changing. And change must not, you know, if you say change can only come through me, something is wrong with you.
Okay.
And even as we keep saying that the CPDM is like this, and like that, what brings change is not the person. What brings change is the Spirit of God in the person. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, just like Nebuchadnezzar changed and worshiped God, change can come through even the person you think cannot actually bring the change.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, what you think, the CPDM, even though you think it cannot change, but when they are touched by the Spirit of God, they will be changed. Are you with me so far? So now comes comes 2008, December 2008. So let's backpedal a little bit. I'm in the CPD, I'm in the SDF. Then I am giving some feedback as to how it should go so that we should bring change. Then there's some resistance, and the chairman doesn't want he doesn't think along the same lines with me. So I say to hell, and I said I'm no longer interested in politics. Let me work in the civil, how do you call it? Not the civil, not. I'm in the private sector, but there is this civil society. Civil society. That's correct. Right. Can I work in the civil society and try to build up change from that area? Okay. So that's my mindset. So I'm working a lot, and I'm thinking that if people are working very hard in the private sector, working in the business areas and so on, trying to do what they can do, Cameroon will change. Okay. And that's my mindset. And that mindset is going to evolve. It evolves in this sense. I think it's the 6th of November, if I'm not mistaken, 2008. I'm traveling to the United States of America on a business trip that is organized by the U.S. Embassy. The U.S. Embassy had crafted this thing where Cameroonian businessmen can go and meet with American businessmen to form business to business relationships, so that the Cameroonian businesses can grow. So I'm on this mission, and we're going to Chicago. So I stop at the cathedral, and I go chatting with the cardinal, His Eminent Christian Cardinal Toomey. Okay. And then we were talking about a couple of things and so on. Then just before I leave, I ask a question, and the most interesting thing is that question turned the answer to the question turned my life around 180 degrees. Wow. And from the moment that the cardinal gave me the answer to that question, I knew that Cameroon would change. Okay. From that day, I was bent on seeing that Cameroon changes onto the right path. Okay. By so doing, that means I had to come up with a vision, come up with a strategy, and then begin to preach a certain kind of message, and then to act in a certain way, and to explain things like we are explaining now.
In the civil society domain.
Yes, no, I'm going to come to that. You will see how it works. Okay. But it was just a mind-boggling and mind-blowing experience that day. It happens instantaneously. Pam! And you get it in your spirit. The word is sown in your spirit. The light flashes in your mind, and you know in what direction you have to go. You know that you have this thing that you want to work with. You don't know how to do it, but a wise man throws the light in your mind, and then it opens. Now, this is the question I asked the cardinal. Remember, President Barack Obama was the president-elect. Remember, he was a first-generation American. What do I mean? His father came from Kenya, got married to his mother, an American, and here Barack Obama was born, all right? Was born in America, and by the time he is 46 years old, a first-generation black American, he is the president of America. So the question is, what lessons, I asked the cardinal, what lessons can you and I, blacks, or us Cameroonians, Africans, learn from Barack Obama? How can a young man like that, and I happen to be older than him by probably 6 or 8 years, he's able to be the president of America, and here I am, I cannot change things in my own family or my village. Are you getting me? So I was kind of like taken to task. Okay. Here is a young man who is very strong, and is the president of America, and I'm older than him, and I cannot make a useful statement in my own village. Something is wrong with me. Are you getting what I'm saying? So, at that material moment, this is what the cardinal says. It says, Barack Obama did not win the presidency because he is strong. Very strange. Barack Obama did not win the presidency because he is strong. He won because he is standing on a platform. Okay. So he said, it is not Barack Obama who won. It is the platform that won. Okay. So that is a very big message, especially to our politicians. Don't think you are too strong. It is the platform, it is the people that you have around you that build you up and put the energies together to make you win. So when you win, it is not you, it's the people, it's an ideology that wins, it's the platform that wins. So he taught me that day the lesson of platforms. Never think you alone you are strong. You alone you are nobody. You alone, you are just a single person and you are not strong. So if you want to win in this world, build platforms. That's the first reason. And then know on which platform you stand. Never, never neglect your platform. You only win because you're on a platform. And from that message of platforms, we are going to pick up 2 lessons. Now, so carrying on, and then when we think of those platforms, let's go back to the America. America has got 2 strong political parties. They are the Democrats and then the Republicans. And remember, President Barack Obama is a Democrat. So I say, okay, so if it's about a question of winning, then I go on to pick his mind again. I said, but in Cameroon, the CPDM doesn't seem to have a sense of direction, and the SDF is also misbehaving. So how are we going to? What is going to change Cameroon? Because you say it's a platform that changes things. All right, it's a platform that changes things. Then he tells me something. He says the SDF is not bad, the CPDM is not bad. That's very interesting. He says the SDF is not bad, the CPDM is not bad. Because up until then we thought the CPDM was bad, was devilish. He says no, the CPDM is not bad. He says go and take there's the booklet that they write for the party. What do you call it again? The articles of association, or the guiding, the party constitution, or whatever, the things they write about themselves. I've forgotten the name. But read for the SDF, read for the CPDM, read for the other 360 parties we have. None of them tells you that they're going to be killing people. None of them tells you that they're going to be stealing or telling lies. They all tell the beautiful things. So technically, as far as that document is concerned, the parties are good. And the ideologies are good. But the bottom line is, it is the human beings that are executing inside there that are bad. So the problem is with the human beings, not the party. You understand? So now if you look at the CPDM, the way it's constituted, it's not bad, but it's the people. And when you say the people, and because because we are all Cameroonians, the same Cameroonians are in the CPDM, the same Cameroonians are in the SDF, the same Cameroonians will be in Kamto's party. So it is about Cameroonians. It is the Cameroonian who is bad. Are you getting what I'm saying? So technically, we are saying the nation is bad. The nation is corrupt. It's like saying that the nation here would be, let's take this building. This building has cement blocks. Every cement block is a citizen. So if you want to change Cameroon, you cannot go around and kill all citizens. You understand? You must work with those citizens and change the citizens. So this is the thing. So and then let me fast forward a little bit. Then I'm saying, how do we change Cameroon then? He says, Cameroon can only be changed by God-fearing Muslims and God-fearing Christians. That is the key. God-fearing Muslims and God-fearing Christians, whether they be in CPDM, SDF, or whichever party, is immaterial. But if you can come up with a bunch of God-fearing people who can form that critical mass, they will turn things around. So that became the logic. And then I'm saying, Your Eminence, I was in this party, I was in the SDA, was not making sense and so on. So now I'm in the civil society, and I want to do the best I can for this ideology to work from the civil society. Then he gives me another answer which again blows my mind off. He says, no way you can work in the civil society till thy kingdom comes. Nothing will change. I say, explain, what do you mean? He says, then he says, to change a nation, to change a system, you must join politics. Active politics. Active politics. Yes. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah. Because when you join politics, then you go into decision-making arena, where you go there with your own agenda. Because when you join politics, you control the policies that are put in place. The first thing, control the policies that are put in place. Make sure that good policies are put in place. Then second assignment, make sure that those policies that have been put in place which are good are applied to the letter. That's how you change a nation. That's how you change anything. Go to where the policies are made. Then 2, make sure good policies are put in place. Then 3, make sure those good policies are implemented to the letter. That's control. Period. And then everything changes for the better. So the assignment was good Muslims and good Christians to join politics and make sure that good policies are put in place and that they are implemented to the letter. Un point, un trait. That became my cri de bataille. Yeah.
Now to move to
So
the
now,
party.
yes. No, so then I complained. I said, I was in the CPD, SDF. They didn't seem to be listening. This CPDM, I don't trust them. I'm not so sure. I can't function in there.
Yeah.
Then he tells me, go there.
Okay.
He says, go. I said, no, he didn't specifically say go there. I said, okay, now, I have a problem of choice. Should I go back to the SDF or I should go and join the CPDM? He said, it doesn't matter. Go to any of them. Then I'm reasoning, I'm thinking, and I say, if I go to the SDA and wait till the day they will take power before I change the thing, this guy's going to take a long time.
Right.
I'm going to go to the guy who has the yam and the knife now, and we start working
So
from
I
there.
could arrive faster.
Yes. I said, well, I'm working with the guy who has the yam and the knife, so I can be bending his hand so that he knows how to cut the yam. All right?
Okay.
So what's the point going to somebody who is going to come to take the knife? No, and then in either case, I still have to be bending their arms. So let me go and learn the tactics of bending the hand of the person who has the yam and the knife. I said, okay, Your Eminence, I'm going to join the CPDM. He said, yeah, go join the CPDM. I said, then I look at him very weird. You know, I'm trying to read through his mind. You see, yes. Then he says, if I were not a prelate, I would have joined the party. I would have joined politics to make it work. I said, okay. So the cardinal is the one who places me in this political arena. Yeah. But he grounds me. I mean, he's grounded me in and gives me his blessing. Say, move on. All right. Okay. And I'm not moving on like any Tom and Dick or Harry. I have my mission.
That's what we're almost coming to.
Yes,
that.
I have my mission in politics, and it will come to pass.
So let me just come in there straight away now. We understand that you have been very vocal, too straightforward in the CPDM, and most of the times it looks like your ideas don't go through. You want to go into parliament, it is not validated. Each time you put an idea, they see you as an opposition camp in the CPDM. Do you feel satisfied with that look from the CPDM?
Look. You know, I have always told them, I have friends in the CP, and they're usually very angry with me. I say, go and take the party booklet. Yeah. If you show me where His Excellency President Paul Biya wrote in there that if you're in the CPDM, you must tell lies. Okay. If you're in the CPDM, you must cheat. If you're in the CPDM, you must do this. If you show me that part, then I'm gone. Okay. But until you show me, I'm going to do what I want in that CPDM. Do it the way you want, but I will do it the way I want. Okay. But technically, when I say I will do it the way I want, it's not me. Because technically, if you're a Christian, he that is within me is greater than he that is outside of me.
So when you count on God?
Yeah, I count on God. See, I can have a crowd of 10,000 of you, but if you, it's about what is coming out. It's about what we are doing and saying. It is not the numbers out there. It's about your mindset, the spirit. Okay, it's about, I carry with me what I call the truth. Okay. You might call me a sinner. I still accept, but at least I try to wear the shield of truth. Are you getting me? If you're coming against me, even if you are 10,000, 20,000, a million of you, except it's the truth. Okay. If I have the truth and you have the truth, then we are friends. All right. But if I have the truth, even if you are 10 million of you out there and you don't have the truth, I'm more than you. Okay. So it's about truth against something else. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah. That's my bottom line.
So, but it means now you're not really too bothered, because one should be expecting to have been bothered that you have initiatives and ideas.
Yes. God, no, forget about that. Okay. I have a gift in me that is greater than anything that most other people have. Right. I have the gift of creativity. Okay. All right? I can take water and turn it into wine anytime. You know, I make situations, things come alive. That's my greatest gift. Are you getting me? And until if you want to beat me, you can only beat me on that platform of the gifting. Okay. And when you have the gifting, it no longer becomes a competition. It becomes synergy. We work together. Okay. Are you getting me? So when I go out to the battlefield of ideas and whatever and arguments, I'm not alone. I know that there is the Spirit of God behind me, and I know on which platform. I told you about platforms. Yeah. I stand in the platform of the God, the Most High. That's all. And when you stand on that platform, you are the Lord.
Doctor, you went to SDF, it didn't work. Now, probably your discussion with Cardinal Toomey, gave you another move,
Yeah.
ideology, you move now into the CPDM, and it's seemingly not working because
No. You think it's not working.
Right.
You think it's not working because a banana doesn't get ripe overnight. All right.
So could we say with time it will work?
Forget it.
All right.
There are changes in there.
Okay.
There are changes in there that you don't see.
All right.
There's a lot that I do out there that you don't see. I don't report to you about
Yeah,
it.
that's true.
But what you want to know is that I communicate a lot, like on television, radio, and so on. Okay?
You're sending messages across.
Yes, I'm sending messages across. It takes 10 years to change a system, to change the way people think, and
Okay.
it takes 10 years. And you know, from the time that the president, the cardinal called my attention to it, it has been a mission of public education. Public education. Then as you are educating people, you are doing things. And besides, you know that when you come into let's go to the cathedral. Let's go to the mighty cathedral. It's dark, it's in the night, not so. It's very dark. But let us light one candle. Then the cathedral is lighted up.
Yeah.
Then the more candles we add, the
brightness increases.
yeah. And so it is not, don't be afraid of the darkness.
Okay.
I might be the single candle in the darkness.
All right.
But I will bring the light there. That is the philosophy. Are you getting what I'm saying?
All right.
Good.
Now, Dr. Nick Ngawanyam, we will be taking to this next part of this discussion, which will be very brief. But before we move over to the next last part of this discussion that has to do with your educational business agenda. Now, when we look at what has been transpiring in Cameroon, you have lived in another developed area where you see things move too straight, and then you've been in Cameroon. Do you feel some regret? Probably thinking like you should have gone back to US or Europe or anywhere?
No. I was saying on television or radio, this is how it works.
Okay.
I happen to have been born in a remote area of Cameroon, in Donga Mantung. You know, for some people they call us donkey and from the donkey and monkeys or whatever.
All right.
Yeah, but this is the issue. And I'm black,
Okay.
and I'm bald-headed, and I'm short, but I'm smart.
Okay.
Are you getting what I'm saying?
Very well.
Good. If God wanted me to be born in the White House as a Bush,
Yep.
I would have been born there.
Okay.
Then if I'm born in the White House as a Bush, I will try to do what the Bushes do.
Okay.
All right?
Right.
But God asked me to be born in a village called Ntundip.
That's Ndungi.
Ntundip.
All right.
And I told my friends 10 years ago or more that I'm going to put Ntundip on the map, and they were laughing at me. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ put Bethlehem on the map. He put Nazareth on the map.
Okay.
Are you getting what I'm saying?
All right.
So God knows why He puts you where you have been put. Don't run away from there. That's where your ntong is. That's where your vision is.
vision.
That's where God has planted something for your life. Keep looking for it, you will see it.
All right.
All right? And most of the time, the difficulties that we go through in life, those difficulties are God trying to kick you around so that you see.
Okay.
So when I came from the UK, and if I had been posted into the Hôpital General, maybe I would have just been like any other doctor, just work there and make money out of patients and build mansions and so on. But God stopped that and allowed me to go to the East and see how people are suffering, and allowed me to see how people are being treated in the civil service and so on. So all those difficulties were lessons.
Okay.
And now, after having learned a lot of those lessons and traveled a lot, because I've also traveled a lot around the world.
Right.
I've been to the US, been to Britain, been to Germany, been to Dubai, been to China several times. So I have gathered what others are doing, and I can see very clearly what others are doing that we are not doing. So while you and I are sitting here thinking that it's the UN that will come and solve our problems, thinking that it's the American that will come and solve our problems, thinking that it's the British or the Frenchman that are coming to solve, thinking that it's the Chinese, all of those are lies.
So the solution to our problem lies in our hands.
Yes. Okay. When God makes you, He gives you the things.
Okay.
So develop them and use them and grow your nation. So you see, if you ask yourself the question, why are Cameroonians who have gone abroad to the diaspora so angry with Cameroon? You run away from Cameroon and go to America. It doesn't matter how much money you earn there or what you are doing there, or Europe, but you realize something is missing in your life and you become very angry. That's why they're so angry and want things to change here, because they want to come back.
Okay.
Because where God has put you, that's where your spirit is, and you cannot run away from your spirit.
That's a good lesson to those.
And now I'm here. They can be out there, but I'm here to make sure that Cameroon becomes what it is, and Cameroon is going to be the #1 nation in Africa.
Wow, that's a good
yes,
prophecy.
it's going to be the best nation in Africa, and all other nations in Africa are going to learn from Cameroon. All other third world, Haiti and all the others that are struggling, they are going to learn from Cameroon, because it's about principles, and all the answers are in this book. All the answers are there, and God has given them to me, and we shall make it work.
Well, thank you very much. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we shall just take the last part of this discourse that will be dwelling on your educational life and your educational philosophy. This is